If you could say three things that you would recommend to someone to support their well-being, what would they be? Hi.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome to Ourcana Sessions. Today we are joined by Victoria Gibbs. Welcome.
Thank you.
Victoria Gibbs, you are well known in the yoga space, a lifestyle influencer and a lupus warrior. Working with brands like Aloe, FP Movement, Nutrafol, GSK, and Benjamin Moore, leading thousands at the 2025 Solstice in Times Square event, USA Yoga Nationals finalist, lupus and open heart surgery survivor, and providing inspiration and raising awareness to millions. Quite an impressive resume.
Thank you. I feel like I'm just getting started, the journey.
That's awesome. Well, today we're going to cover a little bit of where you started, where you're at, and where you're going in the future. But tell me, what first drew you to fitness and training?
I grew up dancing classical ballet. I started ballet classes at the tender age of 4. And I went through that phase where I kind of wanted to quit. And my parents said, no, this is what you're going to do and you're going to love it. And I'm really glad that they encouraged me to stay because I built such a true passion for ballet during my early years, high school. I was actually on a pre-professional track and was hoping to go professional one day. I spent a lot of summers training in New York City with American Ballet Theatre. I went to the south of France to train with students from the Paris Opera Ballet, and then an unfortunate knee injury kind of sidelined me a little bit. My parents, obviously you can see my parents had a very big influence on how I grew up. They encouraged me to apply to college instead. And so I got into my college of choice, which was Dartmouth College. And while I was there, I actually joined the dance ensemble after a little bit of reluctance because they were more of a modern and contemporary company. And I was only used to practicing classical ballet, but the director encouraged me to join. And I'm so glad that I did because it totally transformed my experience in college.
That's awesome. So you go to college, and from there you get a job, or you start to pursue the financial career path or finances?
I left college not really knowing what I was going to do. A lot of traumatic life experiences happened right after college, I should say. And so I just kind of picked up a job with a family friend working as his personal assistant. He was a physician. And so I actually got a lot of great experience with that job. He did a lot of book tours and TV appearances. So I kind of got to be his wing person through all of that, which was an invaluable experience. And eventually I realized this isn't what I want to be doing with my life. And so I fell into finance. It wasn't a choice that I made. It's just a job that I got and turned out to be good at it. So I stuck there.
Sure.
I stuck it out for about 6 years. And during that time is when I started to practice yoga. I needed an outlet. I think deep down I knew finance wasn't for me, but it was something that worked and paid the bills very well. And so one day after work, I left and walked past a Yoga to the People. And I promised myself that I would take class. And the next day I went and I never looked back.
I loved Yoga to the People.
Yeah.
Donation-based yoga studios, really, really cool. So there wasn't a specific point in time that brought you back to health and wellness. It was something gradual that you saw that you weren't really enjoying the finance space. You went to a Yoga to the People class, re-inspired.
It definitely re-inspired my love of movement, but during my competitive yoga years, I spent a lot of time in the studio and had a very good understanding of my body. And in January 2016, I was training very heavily and my body basically started to shut down on me and I couldn't understand what was happening. I had severe hair loss, blood blisters, mouth ulcers, extreme fatigue, insanely high fevers. I was losing my motor skills. I was experiencing brain fog, and I knew something was wrong, but I'm very stubborn. I think a lot of that comes from my years as a ballet dancer, and so I kept going to the studio, but I practiced a lot of hot yoga and I stopped sweating in the hot room, and my practice just didn't feel like it used to. And I was actually in the middle of a competition when I collapsed on stage. I didn't realize that I had extreme sensitivity to light. And so my parents finally dragged me back home after that competition in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. I'll never forget it. And I saw a battery of doctors and I was diagnosed with lupus. And so just knowing all of that, I realized that I had to lean a lot more into my health and wellness. And yoga at the time just turned out to be a really great barometer for me to understand what was going on with my body. So I leaned into the yoga even more. And I would say probably my lupus diagnosis and just passion for yoga led me down this path of fitness and wellness.
Can you, for those of us that don't know, can you tell us a little bit about lupus, what it is, just so that we can raise awareness?
I think people are still trying to figure out what it is,
Yeah.
But it is a very unfortunate and invisible chronic illness. It affects people differently. So for me, I have kidney lupus, and I'm right in the middle of the range. There's a scale from 1 to 6, and I fall in between 3/4. And because I have kidney lupus, a lot of my symptoms surface in the form of fluid retention and very bad inflammation. And so other people, it affects their brains, some their skin, some their motor skills. And again, everyone's journey is very different. And I know people are doing so much research to figure it out, figure out the cure and figure out the cause. But yeah, it's just one of those very unfortunate chronic illnesses that just plagues everyone so differently.
Yeah. Doing some research, I see that it does affect people in a lot of different ways. And so you said you were diagnosed in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And when did you enter the health and wellness space as a career path, like professionally?
I did my teacher training in 2019. I had left my job in finance at December 2018. And that summer of 2019, I decided to do teacher training. So I had a very bad flare up earlier that year, and I was kind of on a very bad downward spiral of just complete chaos and a little bit of addiction issues. And so I realized I needed to channel my energy into something much more constructive. And so I did the teacher training just to give myself something to do. And turns out I really loved it. It was one of those experiences that transformed my life completely. I walked into that teacher training very broken, to the point where my teacher, who I practiced with all the time, like didn't even recognize me because my body had changed so much from the flare up that I had experienced prior to. And at the end of teacher training, he told me that I had a gift that I had to share. And I was really touched by it because I couldn't even get words out of my mouth when that teacher training started. And then to be able to, give off cues and lead a sequence just felt like the complete opposite of how I entered. So I took it with a grain of salt. I wasn't really sure if this was what I was going to do.
Genuine? Does he say this to everyone?
Yeah, exactly. And, I also come from a Caribbean family, and, they were like, my parents said, we didn't send you to Dartmouth to go do yoga for the rest of your life.
I can understand that. Like, I think when you are around or raised by high achievers, there's certain levels or standards that you're kind of expected to live up to. And doing something like a personal trainer or like a yoga instructor, they might have challenges understanding why would you go down that career path.
Exactly.
But having your background, being diagnosed in 2016, becoming certified as an instructor in 2019, and having your background, I'm sure all of these factors influence your training style. how would you say that that affects how you interact with your clients and your guests, and how would you say that affects your approach as an instructor or as a trainer?
I have a very welcoming approach. My class is very no frills. Uh, it is challenging, but it's also very inclusive. I just having gone through my various issues with lupus, I realized that, so many people are going through something and there's not always the space to talk about it or, feel like you can actually relate to someone else. So I want to be very relatable in the room. I want everyone to feel seen and heard. I do my best to learn names very quickly and, give everyone that attention so that they feel when they're coming into my class that, I'm going to see them, I'm going to hear them, I'm going to give them the tools and the resources that they need to genuinely progress their practice. And I want it to be a space where they're excited to come and see me and, kind of check in and tell me the latest and greatest with what's going on with them, both on the mat and off the mat. Yoga is so much about how you show up in life as well. And a lot of those tools that we learn on the mat are so applicable outside of the studio. And so I want my students to feel like they are actually learning real life lessons when they're on their mat. And so making it a space where it's not about a perfect pose, it's about practice, progress, patience, consistency, and just showing up. I'm like, you arrived here today at 6:45 a.m. I'm like, that's something to celebrate.
That's what you're looking for. That's the dopamine hit you should have. You showed up for yourself. It's progress, not perfection.
Yeah.
Starting ballet, before 10 years old, did you say 4, 5?
4, yeah.
So I think it's fair to say that you're a seasoned athlete and also like beauty, movement, and that kind of space. And then leaning into being a yoga instructor after 2019, as well as having this illness that you're battling. Have these factors changed how you view fitness? Or I guess you should say, are there any fitness beliefs that you have outgrown or you've changed your mind about through your journey?
I would say the idea of being perfect.
Yes.
Especially in ballet, they're not telling you to be perfect, but it's very much in the forefront. You want to look a certain way. You want your feet to look perfect, the lines to look perfect. You just want to have a perfect practice, and nobody's perfect.
For sure.
It took me a very long time to understand that. Even in middle school and high school, I would get an A on a paper and I would go back to the teacher and I would ask him, like, why didn't I get the A plus? Like, I don't understand. And so being able to let go of that idea of perfection and just allowing myself to show up as I am every day with all of my flaws. Because I also had a very bad eating disorder for a very long time, and which came from ballet and the idea of needing to look a certain way. And so just also trying to understand how to love my body more and let go of that element of control and just be grateful that I'm alive and breathing and that I have the ability to move my body. So many people struggle with other things and prevents them from doing the things they love. And, even though I have this illness, I'm still able to do what I love. It might not look the way I thought it would have, many years ago when, I was doing the competitive yoga and I was so hard on myself and I only ever defeated myself. I learned a lot during those years.
I struggle with this as well. I will push myself. Like today is a perfect example. I am stubborn to a T, and if I'm not working hard, then I'm probably working wrong. That's in my mindset. Like I need to give it everything, and I need to push and push and push. But I'm still trying to find my way. It seems like you've gotten closer to finding the balance within yourself. I'm still working on that. It ties all together with what we're talking about: progress, not perfection. So would you say the changes in your beliefs has created more balance in you?
It has. I'm a lot more forgiving. I show myself grace as well as my students. I'm much kinder to myself, kinder to my body. I really lean into nourishing my body now, whereas before food was the enemy. And now, I'm happy and excited to eat those healthy things and just without that sense of control behind it, just showing up and staying present. All of this has taught me how to stay grounded, how to stay mindful, how to stay present, and really listen to my body. I'm far beyond the point of pushing for goals or expectations or, results. I just want to feel good. And that's it.
Yeah. It sounds like you're in a good place.
Very good place. I'm very happy.
And it sounds like with releasing some of that control and focusing on nutrition, that probably changes your day a little bit. What does a balanced day look like for you?
In a perfect world.
In a perfect world, you had 10 hours of sleep.
No, literally 8 to 10 hours of sleep. I can wake up leisurely, do my eye mask routine. I have this frozen eye mask that I put on, which is very helpful just to kind of, just feel good in my body first thing. I love journaling. Sometimes I'll just sit in my bed and close my eyes and breathe deeply. Take all my wellness supplements, have my morning matcha, and just have a slow morning. Eventually head off to do some sort of fitness routine. And then on the days where I don't feel like moving, I honor that and I don't. And I just, sit at home and
Rest.
journal, work, rest, whatever it is. And lots of just good nourishing food, hydration. It's all very simple. It's not like anything, super insane, and then eventually, move on to run the few errands or whatever it is. I wish I had more days like that. Right now, my days are mostly just back-to-back classes and trying to carve out that extra time just to sit and be still. And on those days, I actually do, I wish it was a little bit warmer. We're in the middle of winter now, but, if it's summer or spring, I stop and sky gaze.
Yeah.
And I just watch the clouds and listen to the birds and, see them flying by. And that just gives me such a sense of calm and peace that, I feel recharged in that moment to move on with my day.
Yeah. What would you say for our viewers or listeners? I have a question here, but I'm going to change it a little bit. It says, what habits outside the studio most support your well-being? But I'm going to change it to, if you could say 3 things that you would recommend to someone to support their well-being, what would they be? Would it be focus on your sleep or listen to your body or nutrition? Or what would the Victoria top 3 prescribed ideas for well-being?
I would say rest.
Good one.
Is very important. Without my rest, I can barely function, and I feel a lot of people are the same way. I would like to group nutrition and hydration in one because I feel like, they're a little bit synonymous and pair well together.
I think so.
Yeah. And I think the third would be mindfulness, whether that's in the form of journaling or meditation, even if it's 5 minutes. I mean, you could literally be on the subway, hold on, or if you're sitting down, whatever it is, and just close your eyes and breathe deeply. Like those 5 minutes can make all of the difference in your day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. We do a Twitch training Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I have no idea where like the people that are viewing the stream are from and what their situation is. So I'll literally say, like, if you're doing the exercises with us, great. If you're not, if you're at your desk at work, we're about to do the breath work, just go ahead and close your eyes for 2 minutes and just breathe.
Yeah.
Take that second. You don't have to be self-conscious about things. Just take a big, deep breath in Take deep breath out. It's those little pauses where you can, focus on your body for a second.
It's true. They really just recharge you. They motivate you. They re-inspire you in that moment when you feel like everything is starting to like feel overwhelming. It kind of brings you back to baseline.
Perfect. My next question is, how do you reset your life or training when things feel overwhelming? And would you say mindfulness, breathing?
Yeah, definitely. Those have been really pivotal factors for me. I really leaned into journaling heavily in 2019, right after my teacher training. I think there was just so much mindfulness included within the training that I held on to that because I realized how useful it was for me as a tool, and just focused a lot on positive mindset. I see the good in every challenge, and some things someone else could say would be, oh, this is terrible. I'd be like, actually, this is great. This is what I learned. And like, here's how I can apply it and make it different for next time. And so I think just being able to carve out that time just tells you so much about the person you are and how you can move forward in the life as the best version of yourself.
It's all up here. It's the mindset. Yeah. So let's say on the other side of the spectrum, everything is going great. Mm-hmm. I don't know what that looks like in your world, but you're on the top of the mountain. And what do you do, or what helps you stay grounded in those moments? Everything is going great. How do you stay grounded?
I think reflection. It goes back to the mindfulness. I reflect a lot. Not that I live in the past or anything like that, but I think it's important to remember those moments where, you thought you hit rock bottom, or maybe you did hit rock bottom, and you can think about how far you've come. And, even if it's just a baby step, I think every step really matters. And celebrating all of those small wins, I think is it's humbling in a way. And I think that just being able to reflect on those moments, the good and the bad, at least for me, it helps to keep me very grounded. I never, if something great happens, I'm not like, oh, I'm invincible, I'm this,
ego
I'm
doesn't
that.
go through the roof.
My ego, not at all. I actually come from a very big place of gratitude. A lot of opportunities that have been awarded to me, I am insanely grateful for. And sometimes I'm like, I don't understand why they chose me, and people are like, are you kidding? And I'm like, no, I'm serious. They could have picked anyone and they picked me. And so just being able to, let go of the ego.
Sure.
And just come from a place of gratitude always.
Absolutely. Yeah. It reminds me, one of my favorite quotes, or I guess you shouldn't even say it's not even a quote. It's just part of a story, the story of King Solomon. He has a ring that he made, and on the inside of the ring, it says, "This too shall pass." And it's to remind him, if everything's going great, that's fine. Everything's going great, but this is going to pass. And if everything's going horribly wrong, it's okay. This is going to pass.
Yeah.
Stay grounded. Make sure that you realize that life has ups and downs, and keeping level and staying neutral, that's the place you want to be.
Yeah, I never try to hold on to any expectations or anything like that. I mean, in the past I used to, and nowadays I'm just grateful to wake up every day.
Absolutely.
I'm not, expecting to change the world overnight. So it's like just honoring where you are.
Sure.
And being okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's wonderful. I think that's beautiful. What's the most difficult lesson training or building a brand has taught you?
Well, as far as training goes, I think just accepting that, every time you show up on your mat, it's not necessarily going to be what you think it is. It's not going to be, the perfect arm balance, the perfect back bend, because, our minds, whether or not we think we're in control of them, show up different every day. And so it's pushing beyond those boundaries. And I think just enjoying the process more than focusing so much on an outcome. And I think the same goes for building a brand. There are so many hurdles and obstacles. And, I'm in yoga. There's a bajillion of us. It's saturated. So it's like, what sets you apart from someone else? What makes people want to keep coming back to your class? How do you brand yourself more uniquely so that you're not being pigeonholed in the same little umbrella as a million other yogis? So finding that differentiating factor as far as work goes, and then being willing to put in the work. I mean, there's so many obstacles that come. It's very easy to get discouraged if, oh, you didn't get that one teaching job, or you didn't land that client, or you didn't land that gig with some paid brand. And it's like, there's going to be a lot of setbacks. It's how much do you want this? You have to let that go and keep moving forward, and just know that you tried your best and that opportunity wasn't meant for you. So something else will come along that is more aligned.
Would you say discipline is a big factor in this? Not only, I guess, physical discipline, but more mental discipline than anything. Maybe, I think when we keep coming back to mindset, and I think sometimes if we have a series of events that help solidify that mindset, it's good for us. But sometimes things change or new obstacles come. Sometimes you don't have that series of events that help solidify that mindset. How would you stay motivated or disciplined in those situations to keep continuing to move forward and push past whatever challenges you're facing?
It's one of those things where you really have to dig deep, I would say. You have to honor that challenge, and then let it go. And then think about how you can reapproach something with a different tactic, or, it should put you more in a place where you want to figure out how to, approach something differently. So this particular approach didn't work, so maybe this one will this time. Or, you just have to keep showing up. It gets hard, and sometimes, you get a lot of doors slammed in your face, and you're like, what am I doing wrong? You're not necessarily doing anything wrong, but, you just have to work past that noise and realize this is your passion. This is what you want to do. So you have to find the will to stay motivated and inspired to keep pushing and keep going.
Would you say that some of your clients face these challenges? Maybe it's self-doubt or mindset, motivation, discipline. Would you say these are challenges that pop up with some of your clients?
I would say self-doubt is definitely one. Or just having a fear of stepping out of one's comfort zone.
Yeah, that's a great, what inner obstacles do you see people struggle with the most?
Yeah, I think just being afraid to take that risk of trying something new and, failing at it. But it's not a failure. You've learned something new. And so I tell my students a lot of times, clients as well, I'm like, we're going to try this. And, it might not feel comfortable, and that's okay. But this is round one, and we're going to keep reapproaching and approaching and approaching. And as time progresses, the more you practice it, the more it will, feel natural to your body. And it might actually become something that you love. Because I've had so many clients tell me, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't do this. I'm like, yes, you can. We're going to work on this together. And just kind of celebrating those wins and reframing the dialogue so that it's not self-deprecating in any way, actually something that they can be excited about and feel encouraged, because I'm helping to keep them interested in the work that we're doing, and just trying to help them get over the fear. I'm like, some people, they want to arm balance and they're afraid to fall. I'm like, well, let's fall together. I will help you through this, and you'll see it's really not that bad. And like, you're 2 feet from the floor, so it's really okay. And
what's the worst that could happen?
Exactly. And so, once they get over that initial hurdle, they start to release some of those layers of fear. And it's really nice, and it's great for me as an instructor just to kind of see people letting go of that and being so excited to progress their practice. And, when they come to me and tell me they were able to to do this or that when they were practicing on their own. I just feel so rewarding. I'm like, yes. I'm like, I knew you could do it. See?
So how would you, so through repetition, trust, working with the clients, that's how you help them build trust in themselves.
And just trying to encourage them to have a willingness to explore. I think, you have to break down that barrier. And once they're able to just be open to the idea of exploring, they realize that, the world is their oyster and they can do so much more. And so just kind of curating the conversation to keep them open to exploring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say, so there's a quote that says that comparison is the thief of joy.
Mm-hmm.
I struggle with comparison all the time. Through my journey, I've had plenty of ups and downs, substance abuse issues. Funny enough, when I was in the rock bottom phase of my life, I didn't really compare myself that much. I didn't care about any of that. I just cared about when the next time I can get a next drink, something along those lines.
Yeah.
How can I stay in the fog, in the haze? When I finally got clean, it was great, but it was short-lived because I started comparing myself to other people. I started thinking like, oh, I wasted so much time. How do I get caught up? How do I get what that guy has? How do I build my, whatever. I put a lot of time and effort into letting go of those thoughts and feelings and putting energy into that. And it's helped me grow in, I think, a really healthy way. But how would you say you navigate comparison, especially in like the fitness, health industry, especially you said with a ballerina background, your physical appearance they don't want you to be perfect.
Yeah.
But the implication
is there.
is there. So how would you say you navigate that in the wellness world?
It's evolved for me over the years.
Sure.
I think there was definitely a big element of comparison in the beginning, especially, I used to model a lot for Alo Yoga, for instance, and, my pictures all over the world, and just not that it was ever pressure. It was like some of the best moments of my life. And, but when they stopped working with me, I started looking at the girls that they were using, and I'm like, well, why aren't they using me anymore? Like, I don't understand. Like, I can still do all the things. And, I finally realized, that was my time. It was beautiful. It put me on the map in a great way. And gave me a platform to then start exploring some of my own passions in a bigger way, to be able to actually share them with the community. And so I finally was able to kind of let go of that. It took some time and energy and effort. And now I don't compare at all. I'm like, this is me. This is the story I'm going to tell. Take it or leave it.
You've put it all out there.
Yeah.
Like going through your feed on Instagram, good day, post, I'm having a great day. Bad day, post, I'm having a bad day.
Yeah.
It's very humanizing and humbling and refreshing to see someone just be so authentic.
Yeah, because I just, sometimes I not shut it down, but I just put the phone down, my Instagram, because, you see so many people just posting this picture perfect. Oh, I'm traveling here, I'm traveling there, I'm wearing this, I'm wearing that. My boyfriend is perfect, my husband is perfect, my family is perfect. It's like nothing is perfect. I'm like, there's so much behind that facade. And while maybe people are inspired for whatever reason, or just maybe following because they're in awe, like, oh, I wish that could be me, I don't fall into that category at all. I kind of see that it's just fluff. There's no substance. And I want to be a person of substance. I mean, I'll post whatever I'm going to post, and it's not perfect, and that's fine, but that's what's relatable. I'm not going to be standing on top of the Eiffel Tower doing some sort of crazy pose, and I'm sure it would garner quite a few likes. Yeah, but it's not the reality. It's just a moment in time.
Do you think that that's an instructor's responsibility to kind of, I don't know, show to their clients or students that it's important to look beyond the physical?
Well, for starters, I always encourage my students, because sometimes I see eyes darting around the room and like, we're working on certain arm balances and they're kind of trying to see who can do them. And, why isn't that me? Maybe could be going through their head. And I'm like, stay focused on what's happening on your own mat. I'm like, we're all at a different place in our practice,
Totally.
in our journey. We're all going through something different. I'm like, what the person next to you is doing really doesn't matter. So just giving them that space to realize that, it's so much beyond the physical. Somebody might be practicing every day, twice a day, and someone else might be coming in once a week just because they want to feel good in their body. But I don't want them to be looking at that one person who comes every day, twice a day, because their practices are obviously going to be very different and their mindset is very different. And so I just want people to kind of tune into their own awareness and tune into themselves and focus on that self-growth more than the physical growth, because the physical will come, but I think it all starts from the mental.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My next question was going to be, what parts of you exist outside of training? We keep going back to mindset. We've talked about balance. Would you say that these are traits that you've cultivated? Do you think people new to this space can cultivate this mindset of focusing inward instead of comparing outward?
I think so, but it takes work. It's not an easy thing to do because I think sometimes looking within and acknowledging some of the fears or whatever that you're harboring can actually be very scary to admit to oneself. And I think being able to let go of that and just accepting yourself for who you are, flaws and all, I think it takes a lot of work. It's a lot easier to make comparisons than it is to do the personal work and personal development. And, it's a conversation I have with people a lot. It's one I've used to have with my brother quite a bit because he used to compare himself all the time. And I'm like, stop. I'm like, you're amazing. You need to believe you're amazing. A lot of it's self-belief too. And just keep focusing on what you want to work on for yourself. And then that's when things will start to flourish. And I think doing that personal work is really hard.
You'd say the personal work is how you stay authentic in this kind of industry.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. You need to speak your truth. It's not just about a pretty picture. It's about being vulnerable, which I think is very hard for people to do. And I'm probably on a whole nother spectrum than a lot of people. I share everything. But the amount of feedback that I get from people I don't know just chiming in saying that my story has really inspired them or encouraged them to get back on their mat or to stay positive or whatever it is really powerful. And I think that, blocking out that noise and just being the most authentic version of yourself, as hard as it may be, is actually the most fulfilling and most rewarding.
Yeah, absolutely. So working with major brands like Aloe, GSK, doing press with NBC's The Today Show, Newsweek.com, and others, can you tell us what segment or partnership had the biggest impact on your life?
Honestly, as much as I would love to say it was one of the more lupus related type things, I do believe my partnership with Aloe has had the most impact on my life. The way in which they discovered me was very unusual, and I'm very grateful for that. And it gave me a space to actually showcase my practice, which then turned into a space where I could start to talk about my lupus on a wider scale. And while I've never done anything lupus related with them, it helped me garner the community to start talking about it and have actual engagement. And it's kind of cool when people will DM you from around the world and they're like, is this you? And I'm like, yeah, it is.
Oh, that's nice.
I mean, it's kind of a pinch me moment, and I'm internally grateful to them for having discovered me and, given me that space to kind of make a name for myself in the community.
Absolutely. As a well-known lupus advocate, is there any organizations that you'd like to shine a little light on? Give a little shout out, a plug. Hey, everyone, if you're watching, go check this out.
Yeah, I work a lot with Lupus LA. I'm
Okay.
part of their patient advocacy panel, and so I do a lot of we do a lot of panel discussions about living with lupus, the ups and the downs, dating with lupus, working with lupus, what it means to advocate for yourself. And I really love the work that they do. I know there's a ton of lupus organizations, but I feel like going to those big conferences with like a little panel table, it's not personal. I don't feel like it's moving the needle for me, and I have lupus, so I can't imagine someone else who's newly diagnosed with lupus who's just trying to figure things out. I don't really think it's moving the needle for them, and so I think it's really nice to hear the patient voice and the patient perspective, and I think that's what really makes the difference. So Lupus LA is it for me. And then GSK, they're great too. My partnerships with them have never been about medication. It's all just been about lupus awareness. And I've had the opportunity to give them a lot of great stories between my initial diagnosis and then my heart surgery. And I haven't had the chance to talk about my hip replacement yet, caused from lupus, but
And that was recent, right?
yeah, December 19th.
Oof.
I'm about 2 months out.
And you look amazing.
Thank you.
Looks like it never happened.
Feel pretty good. Very lucky, very lucky.
So over the years, I'm sure your definition of health and being healthy has evolved. Is there anything that you would like to shine light on and say, like, if you're in this space or going through these things, maybe open your eyes to this or maybe focus on this a little bit? Is there something that you would recommend people look into when evolving their idea of health?
Stems back to figuring out what works for you and your body and your mind. I mean, what works for me doesn't necessarily work for the next person. Sitting down and journaling for however long or embarking on meditation for 30 minutes. If someone is very fidgety and can't sit for 5 minutes, it's like you can't expect them to sit down for 30 minutes and do that kind of thing. But figuring out little ways you can carve out moments, intentional moments throughout your day, or moments to slow down, or just what wellness feels like for you, finding the time, just 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it is, to really lean into that. Because if you can just carve out those couple of minutes, once you figure out what's actually going to work for you, I think you'll just feel more balanced overall on the day to day. Life won't seem so chaotic. I mean, I know so many CEOs who they take 20 minutes and they do their meditation, they turn off the phone lines, and that's what keeps them going. I mean, they're probably working around the clock, but those 20 minutes bring them back into balance, and that's their version of health. And so letting go of any expectations, I think, is really important. One day we're fine, the next day we're not, and just being okay with that, and always giving yourself grace, showing yourself kindness and compassion. Wellness is beyond like a mindset, but there's so many little things that we can do for ourselves on the day to day to really lean a bit more into our health and wellness. So it's really a potpourri of things.
Yeah. What are you currently learning about yourself?
I'm learning that I'm very resilient. I have a very strong mindset, and I think every day I'm kind of inspired by my own strength. There's a lot of times where I could have easily said, this isn't for me, and just threw in the towel and went back corporate, or, found a reason to complain, why me, poor me, I don't deserve this, I'm not married, I don't have my baby, I'm not dating. All my friends around me, that's the phase of life that they're in.
Sure.
And, I just let that go. I'm just kind of, taking it one day at a time, and
Then what will be, will be.
exactly. And so realizing that I'm on a certain path and I'm very happy with this path. And this is the path that I truly believe is meant for me. I'm learning more every day that my voice is powerful, more powerful than I thought. And I'm really trying to lean a little bit more into that this year and speak more both on social and moments like this. I think they're special and they can inspire, motivate, help others in a way in which I never thought I could. I do still overcommit a little bit.
I'm right there with you.
So still, finding balance in life is a constantly evolving journey. It's never figured out. And, based on what phase of life we're in, it's going to change. And so for me, just kind of remembering I have a capacity and I need to honor that and not try to do more because it will result in nothing good for me. So resilience, balance, always evolving and continuing to use my voice.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
We are reaching the conclusion of the session today, but is there anything that you hope our listeners take away from your story?
I hope that they realize anything is possible. There is no set concrete path for any one person. If you have a passion and a vision, as long as you're willing to take that leap and put in the work, you can make your dreams a reality and to really never give up on yourself. We're all going to experience so many roadblocks. Use those roadblocks as an opportunity to learn something new instead of allowing it to discourage you. Back to comparison. Don't compare yourself to anyone else. Honor and respect who you are, honor your journey, lean into it, and just try to be your most authentic self. We have nothing to prove to anyone. It's just about doing what makes you feel good, humble, grounded, and like you can really make an impact. So
Yeah, that's lovely. And it's hard sometimes, but you don't have to get it right 100% of the time.
Yeah, it's not
one
linear.
decision here and then another here, and these small decisions over time stack up.
Exactly. And always celebrate the small wins. It's like they matter. And those are the things that will keep you motivated and keep you inspired. And
well, you inspire me.
Thank you.
And I hope you inspire all of our viewers. For anybody that would like to find Victoria online, you can check out Victoria Gibbs, Victoria Gibbs,
Yes.
yoga.com. You can find her on Instagram at whatgibbs, on TikTok, whatgibbs NYC, and YouTube at whatgibbs. She also has a Substack where she writes really, really good stories. It's Victoria Gibbs at substack.com. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed this. I had a blast.
I did. It was a great conversation. I love stuff like this.
And I hope we can reconnect in the future. It's a little loud today, but
it's okay. It's perfect.
It was
have
good.
The good light, good conversation. That's all you need. Good energy.
Yeah, I think so too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.